Our April subscriber battle with the Raiders report continues here on Chicago Bears Now, and you guys are stepping up to the plate. Mitchell Renz and the Raiders report, they're on first base. We're rounding third. We haven't gotten home yet. Let's keep the pedal to the metal here and beat him to 1,000 subscribers this month. Hey, number one pick, they got 13. No one cares about that. If you want daily content around your Chicago Bears, subscribe for free. I'm Harrison Graham, and today's episode of Bears Now by Chat Sports is sponsored by 8 Sleep. I don't know about you, but if you have young kids at home, you got to maximize your sleep, and I'm doing it with the pod cover. You can get $200 off at 8sleep.com/chatsports. We'll tell you more about that product coming up here in a few minutes. Okay, Peter Schrager, NFL Network, dropped his latest mock draft, and it's, if you've seen the title of this video, I'm being a little more modest on this graphic. It's interesting with how things ended up for the Chicago Bears. Now, here's what he had to say in terms of how he approaches his mock drafts. He says, we're single-digit days away from the NFL draft in Detroit. Time to take my first crack at mocking the first round. Reminder, as always, this isn't what I would do. It's what I'm hearing from sources around the league. So coming up, we'll get to the, again, interesting part, but let's get the obvious part out of the way. Caleb Williams, number one overall. It's been a formality for weeks, if not months. Here's what Schrager had to say about Williams going to Chicago. As I've reported, the Bears had a great meeting with Caleb at the Combine, followed by a pair of enjoyable dinners in L.A. for his pro day and in Chicago before his visit at House Hall. The team is all in, and so, from what I'm told, is Williams. And you love to hear that part of it. Both sides all in. That's what it has to be. The QB franchise relationship has to be a mutual one. You can't have a guy that doesn't want to be here. All those crazy theories a few months ago, he's going to pull an Eli Manning. Those have been put to rest. Yet another report that dismisses that and even says that he's all in from what he's been told. So that's very, very exciting to think about. And look, I'm really optimistic. I think you guys know this in terms of where I stand with bringing Caleb Williams to Chicago, because I think the Bears have done this right for once. They've put good resources into the next quarterback, which is going to be Caleb Williams. They could add more, number 9 pick. We'll see if they add a premium offensive player there. He can be really successful here. The defense is good. The offense has good talent. With Keenan Allen joining DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, and others. You revamp your offensive staff with Shane Waldron. I think the Bears, at least if it all comes together, gives this rookie quarterback a far better chance to succeed than the last few times they've taken a crack at it. How confident are you that Caleb will work in Chicago? Scale from 1 to 100, 1 being not at all, 100 being extremely confident. I mean, look, I'll go 70. 75. And I know a lot of you guys are like, that's too low, whatever. Well, it's still a rookie quarterback. There's no guaranteed, and the Bears don't have a great history. But I do think this time around there's a good chance it's going to be different. 75, I feel good about it. We'll see how it all plays out. All right, coming up next, the decision at number 9 for Peter Schrager would just straight up piss me off. And again, he's doing it based on what he's hearing, so I suppose it's not his fault, but man, I would really have a tough time swallowing this pill if it plays out this way. But one thing that doesn't piss me off, that does the opposite, that makes me feel awesome every day when I wake up, is 8 Sleep, because I am sleeping better than ever with the Pod 3 cover from 8 Sleep, which you can get at 8sleep.com/chatsports. Get $200 off. This product slips right over your mattress, bringing heating and cooling technology that keeps you comfortable and sleeping deeper for a better, more restful night. I've had my Pod 3 cover for several months now, and I've never slept better. Sleep science shows that in order to sleep our best, our body temperature needs to drop in the early and middle part of sleep and then rise back up in the morning. The pod cover will improve your sleep by automatically adjusting your bed's temperature based on your individual needs. The cover can be added to any bed like a fitted sheet and allows you and your partner to cool or warm your side of the bed as low as 55 degrees all the way up to 110 degrees. Not only does it keep you at the perfect temperature all night, the pod also tracks your sleep and health metrics, which you can monitor through an app that syncs up with this product. Users find that after a month on the pod, their sleep improves by 32%. start the or get going with the rest of your year with the Pod 3. I was going to say start the new year off right, but hopefully you already have. But if you haven't, it's not too late. 8sleep.com/chatsports gets you $200 off. Link is in the comments and in the description. Sleep better with 8 Sleep. Trust me, you're not going to regret it. All right, back to Schrager's mock here. So Caleb Williams 1. We'll see how the rest of the top 8 plays out here. Jayden Daniels goes to Washington at 2. Drake Maye 3. Giants trade up for JJ McCarthy at 4. Chargers stay at 5 and pick Marvin Harrison Jr. Odunze at 6 from Washington. So that's interesting. They go Odunze over Malik Nabers. Joe Walt out of Notre Dame goes to Tennessee at 7. Dallas Turner at 8 out of Alabama goes to the Falcons. And so Malik Nabers is ours, right? He's a Chicago Bear, the LSU speed demon who can do it all. That would be wrong. Peter Schrager says no. Based on what I'm hearing, I'm trading down for the Chicago Bears. He's trading down with the Colts to 15. Bears pick up a future second-round pick, which sure, second-round picks are valuable, but not a second-round pick this year? So let me get this straight. Peter Schrager believes, based on what he's hearing, that the Bears would pass on Malik Nabers to trade down 6 spots for a future second-round pick, not even one this year. You're going to pass on a top 3 receiver, which I already don't like, but to not even get an extra premium pick in this draft when you only have 4 picks this year, I would absolutely hate this if it happened for the Chicago Bears. Now, could I understand some reasoning to pass on a receiver for this opportunity, trade down, pick up more, and select JC Latham, the Alabama tackle, at number 15 overall, who I actually really like? Sure, would I do it? No. But if I'm going to do it, I better get a damn pick this year. I'm not trading it for just a future pick. That's brutal. There's no way I would do that if I was Ryan Poles. Now, here's what Peter Schrager said about Latham and the Bears, and I do think there's some smoke there. It wouldn't shock me if they ended up with them. He said, after piling up more draft capital by trading back, the Bears still land a stud offensive tackle. Latham could be the second tackle taken on draft night, and some teams like him that much. If the board falls this way, Chicago adds a big pedigreed bookend who can join last year's first-round tackle, Darnell Wright. And look, we've talked about this scenario. We've talked about upgrading from Braxton Jones being a real possibility and protecting Caleb Williams. That's not a bad decision. But I just don't love the idea of doing it if you're passing on Malik Nabers and picking up a future pick. Latham has been a really good player for Bama, 2-year starter at right tackle. He's played some right guard as well. You look at the measurables. I mean, this guy probably has the highest ceiling of any offensive lineman in this draft because he's a 6'6" behemoth that moves extremely well. He's got massive arm length, huge hands, 11-inch hands. Fashanu has 8.5-inch hands. Like, it's a massive difference. He packs a punch there. He's versatile. I've heard multiple draft analysts say that he could play all 5 spots on the offensive line. Now, you wouldn't play a guy like this caliber at center, but that he could play guard, he could play tackle on either side. And I like Latham a lot. Like, I'm in the camp of I like Latham more than most people do. And I do think whether he or Darnell Wright would play left tackle, we'd have to figure that out. But that would give you huge potential on this offensive line. And I'm not against that. I'm not against that at all. I do wonder what they would do at left tackle. Would you move Wright over there or Latham? It's not like you're benching Darnell Wright and keeping Braxton Jones with Latham. The idea here would be to pair Darnell Wright with JC Latham. And I do think the Bears think Darnell Wright could play left tackle. There was chatter they could move him over there last year once Braxton Jones missed some time with the neck injury. They did not. But it wouldn't shock me if they kicked him over there this year, depending on what happens in the draft. But man, and we're going to talk about this more, but that trade, passing on the player you're passing on and not even getting a second, like if you get a second-round pick this year, I still probably wouldn't do it. I would take Malik Nabers, but I can at least get it because you don't have a second-rounder this year. You have 2 next year. Why do you want a second next year? You want one now. Grade the pick of JC Latham at number 15 overall. A, B, C, D, or F. I think in a vacuum, this is good value. Like, JC Latham is I think he's a top 15 prospect, and if he reaches his potential, he could be a top 5 player in this draft. He's that gifted physically. So I do want to make that clear. That is not bad value, getting him at 15, trading down and getting more. But when you pass on Malik Nabers to do it and don't get a premium pick this year to do it, no way. Now, if you want to say you get a second next year and a third this year, okay, like I could get behind. I could understand that. But to get one pick and it's next year, like if it was the first next year, okay, I get that thinking. Second next year? No. I need more if I'm passing on this player. Malik Nabers is a top 5 player in this draft, in my opinion. I think he's a close second behind Marvin Harrison Jr. Odunze is a close third behind Nabers. That's why we've talked about that big 3, MHJ, Nabers, and Odunze. But you put him opposite of DJ Moore with Keenan Allen in the slot. He's very QB friendly. You can just get him the ball in space. He can go. He's a vertical threat. He runs good routes. He's explosive as hell. He is the most explosive receiver in this draft, especially among the premium guys. I've said it. I'll continue to say it. If a top 3 receiver's at 9, I am almost automatically taking that player. Sure, I'll listen to trades, but, man, if you trade down, if you do pass on one of those players, you better get more, and you better get a pick in this draft this year, because this year you have 4 picks right now. And I've agreed with the trades they've made because they've been day 3 picks outside of the Montez Sweat move, which has worked out well, and this is not a deep draft. But I would like to add a pick on day 2. You only have 1 right now. So if you are going to trade, let's get a pick this year. I would feel a lot better about this idea from Peter Schrager if it was a pick this year. But, man, I can't get behind that trade when Malik Nabers is still on the board and you're getting future capital. I don't like that whatsoever. Let me know what you guys think about it all down in the comment section down below. We appreciate you guys for tuning in to Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys tomorrow.